Welcome everyone to Anchors Away. It is episode 24 or 25 at this point, and unfortunately we didn't get a first episode out of the week because not a good reason, but we both just kind of spaced, and when one was ready the other one wasn't, and the schedule just didn't line up very well. But honestly, it kind of worked out because now we're at least able to talk about game one of the ALDS versus the Astros, and kind of look forward to some of the the winter sport team. The Kraken start tonight, and then we'll be able to preview a little bit of the Seahawks. Since it has been about a week now since we last did one, how are you? How are the new dogs treating you? And how's life?
Yeah, doing okay. Puppies are getting a little bit older. They definitely showing their personalities, and our smallest one now is the loudest barker of the group.
Oh wow!
Figure that. So yeah, they're doing well. They're learning every day, just as we are. How about yourself? How are you doing?
Yeah, good. Can't complain. Coming up on a week long, just off of work, which will be definitely nice. Definitely looking forward to that. And then can't complain really at all so far with everything going on. Well, at least in the personal life, we can talk about the sports life here in just a moment.
Yeah.
So
there we go.
Yeah, let's just jump into it. We'll get the timer started here. Going back to 5 minutes with 4 quarters like usual. Game one of the American League Division Series against the Astros happened on, Tuesday, I guess that would have been? Tuesday?
Yep, Tuesday.
Started off really good. Verlander looked very off to start the game, and our offense got to him early. At that point, I felt really confident game one was kind of a lock, which I guess you need to go back to the old Mariner thinking where that's not the case. So we'll kind of do this in 2 parts, I guess. Let's start with the offense because that really was the highlight, and that was the part that made me nervous going into this series. Was I wasn't sure how our offense would be able to handle the Astros pitching, especially with Verlander, who's probably a lock to win the Cy Young this year in the American League. Just from what you saw from the offense in game one, how did you feel about it?
I was excited. With Verlander, I knew we had one game where we got to him. That was back in May.
Yeah.
But I knew we could get to him. And so that was kind of what I was looking at in that first couple innings, was if we could get to Verlander early and at least get something on the board, we had a good shot at it. And then we just kept pouring on points. And I'm like, whoa, this is awesome. Let's get Verlander out of there. And when we chased him, after 4 innings, I thought, this is fantastic. Of all games, I didn't think we'd have game one.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I'm thinking, damn, could we actually sweep this? So they were doing great. It was nice to see Julio break out in a big way. Firing on all cylinders. Carlos Santana, again, probably the pickup, the most underrated free agent pickup or trade or whatever we did before the trade deadline, because he is just doing a great job. And then of course the bit players, the bottom of the order, was doing great. So I was
JP with a home run also, like you said.
Yeah,
I know you texted me all the Mariner taglines there, and whatever, when you see him hit a home run, something good's going.
Something's good going. So I thought, boy, the bats woke up. So I was feeling great at that point. How about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, same. It felt like after that Toronto game too, like their bats just stayed there. Obviously they started very slow against Kevin Gausman, but picked it up and obviously won the game. And it felt like they picked off right where they left off in Toronto against Houston. Like mentioned, Verlander's probably going to be the Cy Young. So just a great start there, and really, at least I feel a lot better now looking towards the rest of the series that our offense will be able to hang with Houston. Right. And that's kind of probably a good transition point, especially halfway through the quarter here. Gilbert actually pitched well, but the bullpen, which was supposed to be the strong part of this team, fell apart badly, with Andres Munoz giving up 2 runs, Paul Sewell giving up 2 runs, and then obviously Robbie Ray just does not have it in these playoffs right now, obviously giving up the 3-run home run to Yordan Alvarez. Thoughts on pitching and what to look for going forward?
Yeah, I will say that I was very nervous when we put Sewald in the game, just because he has kind of imploded during the month of September. I don't know, he just forgot how to pitch.
Yeah.
He was giving up homers and hits during September, so I didn't have a good feeling about him. And then even Robbie Ray made me nervous.
That one felt weird to me.
Just because of the situation. I get it, you can unload, but he had been catching so much of the plate the last few games.
Yep.
That I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if it's a mechanical issue or whatnot with Robbie Ray, but again, for the situation, and I know Scott Services probably hasn't slept a wink yet, just because I would have put Alvarez on, irregardless. The bases weren't loaded. Put him on first and have your chance with the next guy, because quite frankly, I just had a really bad feeling we just gave that game to Alvarez to win. It just felt like that when he came up.
He was asked about that in the press conference today, why they didn't walk him. And he had kind of a smug response of like, well, you don't put the tying run on second base. Like, it's like, well, look,
he was already on second base.
So it's just kind of interesting. And then to your point, Ray hasn't really been hitting corners. He's been kind of over the plate. And when you have Alvarez, arguably, I don't know, a top 3 hitter in the American League.
Oh, absolutely.
And one of the best lefty versus lefty hitters, that felt really odd and strange to me. Of course, hindsight's 2020. Right. I do like the analytic of putting the previous year Cy Young winner, see what happens. But unfortunately for this one, it didn't happen. To the second quarter we go with hopefully some better talking points here. Here's the good thing. Offense played well in game 1, and we have Luis Castillo going in game 2, who obviously pitched a stellar game in Toronto in game 1. I would expect we're going to get the same thing from him in game 2. He's probably going to be even more confident and hyped up in that next round of the playoffs in Houston. What are we looking for from Luis Castillo?
I do not see him falling off at all. I expect to see the same thing. I expect to see him go 7-8 innings. Really do. He's seen how to pitch against the Houston Astros now. He's seen what needs to happen to get Altuve. Yeah. So kudos to our pitching to keep Altuve down. I was really surprised about that. But so got to be careful though with Altuve, because he could just pop it on game 2. So again, we got to be weary of him. But I'm liking it. Our defense is still there, so I'm not worried about that. But yeah, I think Luis will be just fine. I think he knows what he has to do, and he's there and he's doing it. So it's not a question of him not being there. So I think he'll definitely have no problem pitching, and I think I expect 7-8 innings out of Luis.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's definitely a fair expectation. Definitely 7, especially with how pretty much our whole bullpen went in game 1. It felt like, and like you said, this is, I think, the difference between him and Robbie Ray. It feels like, at least so far, is like Ray talks a big game, but is yet to back it up. Right. Where I feel like Castillo will talk and then go out and back it up. I mean, we saw it in the home debut against the Yankees. He pitched extremely well. We obviously saw it against Toronto in game 1. It's shutting down what some considered a lineup that would be in the championship series. Right. I have nothing bad to say about Castillo. I would have been great to get that game 1 win just to take some of that pressure off, going into game 2, where if we would have won game 1, I would have felt very confident that we might be able to take both games in Houston. With Castillo going, with how the offense hit against Verlander and honestly their bullpen. It's tough. It's hard because I almost felt like game 1 was a must win for us. And the way they lost it, I mean, obviously as a player you just have to let it go and move on, but I feel like there's going to be that little bit there that is just going to kind of linger with you as we move through the series. I think Munoz will probably bounce, like just let it go. It does worry me about Seawald though, because I could definitely see that stick with him.
Seawald is a head case right now. I'm sorry. Just looking at his expressions, and before he was jazzed about doing that, the closing the game out, and he was just like would always end a game with a strikeout. Yeah, and it's just not there right now. So I don't know if it's a confidence issue or what, but yeah, I don't know where he's at. Again, he's leaving it right over the middle of the plate too, so he's lost some of that pinpoint control that he had too, like Ray.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we're going to be okay. I think Brash and Festa and Murphy, will be okay. Like you say, Munoz will probably bounce back. He's young enough; he doesn't know any better, so that's good.
Yeah.
Castillo did fine. He didn't give up anything, so I was okay with that. So I think we're okay bullpen wise still. And it's kind of nice that we had this day. For the longest time, I was thinking yesterday too about, God, I wish we had game 2 right now. And then, as the more I thought about it, I'm glad we have this day just to kind of, take it all in, regurgitate what just happened. It was a bad thing, and now we can reset. And hopefully the guys are doing that. They're getting some rest, getting some sleep now, and going into it and getting recharged. Definitely with Eugenio and Julio, they'll get the team back up and jazzed and pumped. So, in a way, I kind of like this one day off just to kind of reset. On the one hand, it would have been nice to get right back at it, but then again, maybe some of that excitement may have waned a little bit from the crowd too. So, they'll have to.
Yeah, I think that's almost the bigger thing is if we went into Houston again today, that crowd just came off such a big win. That would have been a tough start where, like you said, yeah, I mean, it still happened, but it's a whole extra day of like, well, it's over now. Like we already watched the highlights on ESPN for 24 hours. So it is kind of nice. I think Service also mentioned he was like that. I want to play game 2 right now. And then kind of think about it's like, okay, let's take a breather. Like it happened. Let's move on. Let's take a day and go into game 2 with our ace up on the mound and hopefully getting another win.
And getting the series back to even, and then it's the best out of 3. So
and
we saw what we can do in a best out of 3.
Yep.
So.
And I feel real good with Kirby on the mound on Saturday.
Absolutely.
But that will be a topic for next week. So let's go to the third quarter here. From some sad things to some happy things. The start of the NHL regular season happened yesterday. Well, on Tuesday. This will be uploaded on Thursday. So a couple days ago. But Wednesday night, the Kraken will start the regular season versus the Anaheim Ducks. I think the big one here is unlike last year where our number 1 pick went back to college, which don't hate it. Actually really like that. I've talked about that rule on previous episodes. Our 1 pick this year, Shane Wright's going to be in the starting lineup as on the 4th line here with Ryan Donato and Carson Kuhlman. What are you looking for out of the Kraken at least game 1? We don't have to go full regular season, but at least game 1 kind of what are you excited for or, just some good thoughts going forward?
Yeah, absolutely. I think hopefully the preseason wasn't a fluke and they can build off of that, going 4-2. It was nice to see that they got to go up against the Flames and the Oilers. They're definitely going to be the cream of the crop, I think, out of the Pacific. And we were able to play with them in the preseason. Now that's preseason and not the full season, but at least it gives us a little bit of a chance to see what they could do against those teams and really favorable. I think with this game against the Ducks are a young team too.
Yeah, they are.
Just like Seattle is. The funny thing is, I'm going to say the edge goes to Seattle on this one. And of all things I'm going to say is I'm thinking the goaltending is going to be the big difference in this game. Grubauer looks back to what he did back in Colorado this preseason. Really looking solid. The new coach for the goaltenders, I think, is making a big difference. And having Martin Jones as kind of the backup right now is nice kind of netminder to help Grubauer and just be kind of that sounding board for him. But definitely Grubauer will be in there. I think with the pickup of Justin Schultz on the defense, I think will also help. I think we're going to be a lot better off on the defense with some of the pickups and just seeing, like Schwartz being a captain, he'll kind of be back there too with with Donato and Eberle and Wright out there. And so I think we could probably come out of this with a win, maybe 3-2, 4-2, something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I think, like you said, it's preseason and everything, but I think the players that you wanted to see score did score. And I think that's the big difference this year is they added goal scoring with Burakovsky and Bjorkstrand.
Absolutely.
Beniers looks to be a sniper out there.
Oh yeah, he's in line for the Calder, I think.
Yeah, he's definitely looking real good. Like you said, Grubauer, I think he's going to be fine. His whole career, he's a 912 to 926 save percentage guy, except last year. And he's even said last year, like, they weren't all together. I think he said something like some of it was COVID, how they just couldn't get together and meet up and kind of build that chemistry where I think they have now. Justin Schultz is probably scheduled to be on the first line with Vince Dunn, so that's going to be huge. And then Jamie Oleksiak, Adam Larson. I really like the defense. The third line on our forwards is what's really exciting me, though, is with Brandon Tanev, Yanni Gordon, Jordan Eberle.
That's going to be a fun year.
I'm a big fan of Yanni Gordon, even when he was with Tampa. And then to have hopefully a full season of Brandon Tanev with Jordan Eberle, if that stays the third line, that's going to be so much fun. And then obviously the first line with Burakovsky, Beniers, and Jared McCann. McCann leading the team in goals last year, adding, Burakovsky, who's a 20-goal scorer, Bjorkstrand on the second line, but also a 20-goal scorer. And then Beniers should be in line for 20 as well.
I think so.
I think this team is going to be a lot. Last year it was a lot of fun because they were new and no one really cared that they lost because they just wanted hockey in Seattle.
Exactly.
I think this year it's going to be a lot of fun to watch because they are winning games.
And you can see the future.
Yes. Yep.
You can actually start building your fan base around the future of this team. Now you know who's the core and who you can get behind the root.
And I really like the Shane Wright and Ryan Donato pairing as well.
Yes.
I think that one's going to be a lot of fun. We saw Donato get a couple goals in the preseason. He was obviously the first Kraken player to ever score a goal for Seattle. So really glad they did bring him back, and I think that I'm really excited for just the line pairings.
We got lucky to get him back too.
Yeah,
we got lucky. I mean, I was surprised we let him out there, and way to get him back.
Yeah. Then Grubauer, he'll bounce back. I'm not worried about that at all. I know a lot of people on Reddit, I think, are newer to hockey, and they just blame every goal on the goalie, which you can't do. It's just think of it like soccer. If your whole defense lets the person go by and they score a goal, are you really blaming the keeper? Or are you blaming the defense? So I think, people newer to hockey need to realize it's still a team sport, in that if the defense messes it up, it's not always the goalie's fault.
Exactly.
So definitely looking forward. It'll be interesting to see Trevor Zegras go against, he did his over the net goal or pass last year. So hopefully they don't let that happen in game one, because that'd be an awful highlight to have at the start of the first game of the year. True. But going back to some, sports that have been going on now, we're going into week 6, I believe, of the NFL season. Seahawks, that was a bad loss against New Orleans. Very unfortunate against Andy Dalton. I don't really know what to say about that one. Rashad Penny's out for the year now. I feel like that's just one you leave in the rearview mirror and don't really look back and talk about it. I guess the one big Tariq got another interception, so that's good, but I don't really know what really kind of good thing came from that game, if I'm being completely honest.
The offense is the only thing that's good. Besides Rashad Penny going down. Because Kenneth Walker, he had
a big run.
To the NFL.
Yeah, 41-yard touchdown or something like that.
Yeah, nice job,
let's talk about the offense then. So let's at least start there, because I think that's where we can kind of get through it a little bit faster. Geno Smith is like the top 3 PFF rated quarterback right now, which I don't know how this is happening. Why did we keep Russell for 3 extra years and took up cap space when we could have had Geno Smith in the lineup? Again, hindsight's 2020, and he probably wouldn't have played like this 3 years ago, so I get it. But he's doing really well. Penny was doing well before last week, so we'll really get a full glimpse of what Kenneth Walker is. He should be fully healthy at this point from that hernia surgery. And Tyler Lockett, still Tyler Lockett. So at that point, but what how you feel about the offense?
The offense, I'm really pleased about. I mean, Shaden Waldron is finally being able to open up that playbook and letting Geno kind of play with the playbook.
Yeah.
They definitely are scoring. They're not having a problem scoring points. I mean,
which is not what I thought it would be.
Which is exactly. I mean, when you look at points that they've scored so far, I think it's up to 127 so far, which actually leads the NFC West.
Yeah, the West is not what people thought they would be this year.
No, not at all. And so they're, everybody's almost 2-3. I mean, San Francisco's 3-2, but Gino is just cooking, and Waldron's got that team going. Talk about a draft. I mean, the bookends are looking really good for tackles.
Yeah, they are.
Unfortunate about Damian Lewis, but Phil Haynes has been spotting the guard situation just fine.
Yeah.
And Austin Blythe, that center, has been great. So
yeah.
The offense is supposedly was supposed to be one of our weakest points, is one of our better points, and they're definitely scoring. But I won't. It brings up the other side of the line is the defense, and here we are again, different coordinators, same problems. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only good thing about the defense is Tariq Woolen's like the highest rated coverage cornerback right now, at like a 16 completion percentage or something like that. Like his number is insane right now, playing better than Sauce Gardner, all the hyped up corners that were picked before him. But yeah, we're still, you give up 45 points to the Lions. I think you have a pretty big issue there. It doesn't feel like the defensive coordinators are playing to the strengths of the players. They're trying to make the players fit their scheme. And that doesn't work. I don't know what they need to do. I don't know who's going to get in their head that they need to mix it up and change things up, because it's, now we're going into week 6. I know Kyler has not played well this year, but he is a very good quarterback.
And Arizona can still score.
Yep. And this is the game to me where, I said this last week though too. I don't know. I don't know what we're doing. I really don't. Are we trying to tank? Are we trying to win? Or are we going to be a middle of the pack team that gets like picked 12 and 13? And, we don't have, which necessarily I don't think is a big issue, because like Gino is playing really well, but there is almost something to be said about, let's just get the young quarterback on the 4-year rookie deal and just build around him.
Money.
Exactly. Especially with Gino and Drew Lock on their final year of their contracts. Like, what are we doing? I think that's the biggest question for me right now is I don't know. We can't be that like 500 team. It needs to be one or the other. And
absolutely,
I think at this game,
the way Denver is, they're going to do the same thing. We're going to end up with probably picks
13 and 14
and 20.
Yeah, fair enough. That's even worse than I think.
That's where we're going to be.
Yeah,
18 and 20.
But probably realistic.
Is out of the question.
Yep. So, yeah, gosh,
unbelievable. They're just, I don't know.
Both teams are going to end up 9-8, 8-9.
They're going to both be mediocre.
Yeah.
Middle of the pack.
Yep.
And that's what we're going to get, is going to get a mediocre pick, middle of the pack. We aren't going to have any good picks. So at that point, what do you think? Do you go ahead at this point? Because you probably are not going to get a good pick.
Yeah.
Do you go ahead and put Gino in for a 3-year deal, 4-year deal, and then build up your defense? I don't know. That
is the question of the year, it feels like right now, and I'm not sure what Pete and John know what they're doing either.
I don't know,
because he's played too well to like tank, but we're not winning games. So
exactly.
It's
and realistically, it's the defense right now. That sucks. And to your point, we're not playing to the strengths of the players. They're trying to make them fit into a system this year that we shouldn't have tried.
Yeah.
We don't have the players for it.
Yep. And no, I definitely agree. Well, hopefully, unfortunately, that's kind of a negative point to end on. So, what's one good thing you're looking forward to this upcoming weekend with Seattle sports?
Game number 2 will be tonight. I think we will be loading this up. So game 2, and then Saturday, that's what I'm looking forward to, is that first playoff game in Seattle. Even though we're not there, I'm going to enjoy watching it.
Yep.
Have those rally shoes, everybody.
Yeah.
Which is just crazy, but it's the Northwest, so everybody get some Birkenstocks and put them on your head.
Yeah.
So that's pretty exciting, actually, and certainly seeing how the Kraken do. We'll have a couple games.
Yep.
To kind of look back on, and it's kind of fun seeing, like you said, it's going to be an exciting year for the Kraken. I'm looking forward to it. Not the novelty of being the first year, but now it's time to play hockey.
Yep, exactly.
So that'll be kind of fun. So how about yourself, sir?
Yeah, I mean, same. Let's make the Seahawks push their game back. Let's play a game on Sunday for the Mariners. I think that's big. And then the Kraken will be playing my local minor league hockey team's professional team against the Kings here tomorrow, or I guess tonight. Now I don't know. It's hard to figure out when we upload and when we're filming, but so that'll be fun also. So yeah. It's going to be an interesting weekend. Either way, we will have at least one more game of playoff baseball to talk about, whether that's a win or a loss. And then, much more to come going forward. Thank you, everybody, for watching. This has been Anchors Away. Go ahead, subscribe, like, and comment. And we will see you all in the next episode.
Have a good one.